Hey everybody, this is David Belo, your instructor in the class. I want to show you guys how I do the pin tool. I know everyone is, you've been doing the tutorials and have done your first tracing exercise, but I want to make sure we don't get off to any bad habits, which is really easy to do using this pin tool. It's it's so critical to understand this program. In fact, you really can't claim that you can use Illustrator until you are pretty comfortable with the pin. So I want to show you how I do it and how I teach my classes to do it, and kind of think of this as Pin Tool Boot Camp. Okay, I'm going to quickly show you three little exercises that I give my students, and this Black Hawk actually is the third one that I posted the other day on that announcement. So our goal is to work our way up to this, to be able to quickly, in 5 minutes or so, be able to recreate this using Illustrator. Maybe 10 minutes, but it won't take you any longer than that once you get pretty comfortable with it. So I'm going to start off and just take you through how I start. We can't leap right into that because I think it's too complicated and there's too many little things you need to understand before you can try it. Now, if the video gets cut off, it's because I'm limited to 15 minutes and I'm going to do 2 of them. So I'm not sure how far we'll go here. Time tends to fly when I'm trying to make one of these things. And I've made 3 of them now and messed up all 3. So this is take number 4. And I've said some really funny and good stuff in the other one. So anyway, I'm going to go back over here to this file. It's got this circle and this pear and this little tree and a heart and a wave at the bottom. And this is the first one I have my students do. Now let me quickly explain to you a few things. The pin, the one I'm talking about, is this right here. It's called the pin tool. It's got several other ones nested inside of it. You don't need to worry about those yet, but they give you a lot of control later. At the top of the toolbox, there's these 2 pointer tools. They're actually called selection tools. The black one is the selection tool and the white one is called the direct selection tool. The difference is the black one lets me click an entire shape and move the shape, rotate the shape, delete it if I wanted to, change its color if I wanted to. If you want to affect the shape in any way, you have to click on it first. You have to select it. So that's the tool that you use to select it, the black one. Move things around the page. It's like your go-to tool. The difference between that and the white one is the white one it kind of behaves the same way. I can click on a shape and move the whole thing, like the other one. But if I single click right along the edge of it and select one of the anchor points in Illustrator, like that one or this one, or any of these, I can move that anchor point. Everything in Illustrator is made up of these anchor points. It doesn't matter what you draw. Any shape, doesn't matter how complicated it gets, they're all made up of either corner points like this one, curve points like this one on this side of that circle, or what are called cusp points, which are curves that end on a corner. See the difference there? This point on this circle has curves on either side of the point. It even has these handlebars that are called curve handles that I can use to adjust the shape of that curve. Corner points, like this one at the bottom of the tree, have straight lines on either side of them. Cusp points, like that corner on that tree there, it ends in a corner, but it has one handlebar that lets me adjust the shape of this curve out here. So those are the 3 types of points: cusps, corners, and curves. And we can make all 3 of them with the pen. So let's start. Here's how you do it. And I'll have this available for you on the announcement if you guys want to download this file and just try it. I would do this one. Get where you can do the circle, the pear, the tree, the heart, and the wave. And when you're comfortable with that, you can move on to the next thing, which is probably going to be my second video now that I look at my time. So here's how I have my students. We start with a circle, and if you click on that circle, you can see it has 4 points on it: 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 9 o'clock, and none of those are corners. Now, remember, the pen works like this. You have to make sure you don't have any fill set when you're using your pen. That's our first rule. If you've got a color set down here for your fill, it's going to fill in orange as you go, and that's very obnoxious and annoying. So make sure this fill is set to be clear. The way the pen works, and you can pick any color stroke you want, okay? Doesn't matter. Whatever's best for you. If you single click with the pen, it makes straights and corners. It's like connecting the dots. Okay? If you want to create just a line, once you get to that point, you can deselect that, and now I have just a line. Okay? drawing a line. It's not a shape, it's just a line. If I want to turn it into a shape, I have to keep going, get all the way back to where I started and close this thing. Now I have what's called a path, a closed path. Actually, it was a path before too, but now it's a closed path. Closed path I can fill with color and I can treat it like any shape, okay? That's a closed path. To do curves, it's not just click, 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 click. Whoops, see, I'm doing it too. You have to, if I want this next point to be a curve, I click and drag. See, look at that. It's making a curve as I drag this. Now don't get goofy and think you're animating anything. You know, you're just making a curve. And you let go. And you move your mouse. And you click. And you drag. And you let go. You move your mouse. And, you know, once you get pretty good at this, you kind of get a feel for where to click and how far to drag and which direction. You can close your path and make a funny worm thing like I did. Okay? So to do this circle at the top, move it out of the way quickly here. It's over there. That circle has no corners on it. So I'm never going to single click. My first click is going to be at 12 o'clock and I'm going to drag to the right. My next click is at 3 o'clock and I'm going to drag down. My next click is at 6 o'clock, directly underneath 12 o'clock. Thankfully, I'm going to drag to the left. My next click is at 9 o'clock, straight across from 3 o'clock. I'm going to click and drag up. And then my last one, I'm going to go back to 12 o'clock and I'm going to click and drag to the right. I mean, that's not perfect, but I can come back with my white pointer tool now and I can tweak it a little bit and bring those 2 points down just a little. And I can make a pretty good little circle. Now, my students ask me all the time, how'd you make that look so easy? You know, that's ridiculous. Why wouldn't you just draw that with a circle tool? Well, you could, but to learn how to use the pen, you've got to practice these things. So the trick with it is, how did I know how far to drag that first point? Well, here's a rule. Don't ever drag those handlebars too far. It's short, controlled, concise motions, okay? How did I know where to put the next point? Well, I clicked over here on this circle. I knew that 3 o'clock was a good, you know. But what I tell my students is you want to aim for the high points and the low points of curves. The fattest points or the narrowest points, the mountains and the valleys are good places to put points. So I'm going to click that at about 3 o'clock, which is the peak of that curve, right? Now, how did I know which direction to drag? How do I know I'm dragging down? Students will want to drag to the right or to the left or back that way. The best thing I can tell you is you drag your mouse the direction that you're going. I'm not going down and to the right towards that pair. I'm going down to the bottom of this, towards the bottom of the circle. So I'm dragging my mouse down. The next point's at 6 o'clock. Which direction am I going to drag? Can you guess? Am I going to drag up? Now look what that does to the curve. Am I going to drag down? Nope. I'm going left. I'm going to drag left. I've had other people say one thing to remember on this one is don't ever drag into the shape or away from the shape. Drag along the edge of the shape. Well, that works too. But, you know, I like to, in this circle, I can just drag straight up and down, straight left and right, and make another little circle. That's the circle. The pear is just like that. I'm going to do the pear. If my recording ends here, we'll just pick up on the next one. Okay, here's the pear. Look where the points are on this. I'm letting you guys cheat, right? Here's the point up here at 12 o'clock and 3 o'clock, just like the circle. Then it comes way down here to this fat part of the pear, then way down to the bottom part of the wide parts of the pear and the narrow parts are where the points are. So I'm going to take my pen. I'm going to start up here at the top, drag my first point there. My second one is going to be about right here. My next one is way down here at the wide part of this pear. I'm going to drag straight down because that's the direction I'm going. The next point is at the bottom. I'm going to click and drag left because I'm going left. Next point is here. I'm going to click and drag up. Next point's way up here. I'm going to click and drag up. And at 12 o'clock, click and drag to the right. And my pear is not exactly right, but it doesn't have to be. It's a pear, right? It's kind of a ghost Casper pear. But you get it, right? I can go back and adjust these handlebars with my direct selection tool and make it all just perfect if I wanted to. Okay, the other thing I want to tell you guys is the fewer the points, the smoother your curve will be. I could have made that pear with 30 points. You know, I could have gone down through here and made all these points, and look at that. gotten all point happy, but it's illogical because if you think about it, every time you put down a point, you make a curve. Every time you click and drag, you make a point that's got these two handlebars on it. So now I've got all these variables that I've got to come in and try to, look, I even made a corner right there. All these variables that I've got to come in and try to smooth out and work with. So you don't need that many points. You want to try to, it's kind of like how you live your life when you communicate. If you want to write a paper, say as much as you can with as little as possible. With the pen tool, draw as much as you can with the fewer the points as possible. Okay? If I can draw the pair with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 points, I've done something pretty good. I could have put a point right in here and another one right over there and maybe on these other parts of the curve. I don't need them. What students will do wrong with this a lot of times is they'll drag too far. They'll do their first point like that. And then when they try to put their second point in, it makes a big hump. Then when they come down here, they'll drag this one too far. And we're getting big crazy humps because they're dragging the curve handles too far. Now it's totally out of control. You see? So you have to make short, concise, relatively controlled movements with your mouse, and don't drag these handlebars too far. A good thing to remember is don't let the handlebar extend past the other one. See how that one right there, when it hits this line about right to, watch the right handlebar, it extends past it right there. Then I'm getting a bad curve. So, just control, even if you drew a pair like this, it's okay. It looks pretty good. Okay? That's the pair. Now, I think I'm out of time. I'm going to stop this video right here, and then I'm going to pick up part 2. We'll do the tree and the heart and the wave. Okay? All right, here we go.